بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. زي ما اتفقنا النهاردة عشان معانا المجموعة الجديدة، معلش يا مريم وسما وليلى وهدى، انتوا هتبقوا بس مجرد مستمعين، لان احنا المفروض في بروجكت، كان في 2 تيمز عاملين بروجكت وهم المفروض النهارده بيعملوا البرزنتيشن بتاعت البروجكت بتاعهم. فانتوا خليكم انتوا الاودينس وانتوا اللي تسالوهم. اي حد عنده داوت في الكلام اللي بيتقال يعني تشالنج them. اوكي؟ هدى
What's
ليلى.
the project about?
One project is about women in Islam.
Yeah.
This is for girls. Mariam is leading. And the other one about the day after, what they call it in English, اليوم الآخرة, يوم القيامة. What they call it in English? The last day, the day after, the
day of judgment.
Day of judgment, yes. Okay. So هنبتدي بيوسف بس باعتبار ان هو اللي هيكلمه الاول. Screen shared already?
يعني ايه screen share؟
لا I didn't share the screen.
لا.
فأنا عايزكم الأربعة اللي هم مش مشتركين يتشالنج الناس، وقفوهم في أي وقت واسألوهم.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to take any questions whenever you guys need any.
طيب shared screen already shared?
Yeah, I can see it. Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Wait, I have a question. Are we allowed to ask questions too?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, perfect.
Because if you didn't ask, they will kill you. They will ask. So take your.
مين هيkill مين؟
Everybody will kill everybody. يلا.
يلا.
Start.
It's your
Where's the name? Only Yusuf and Abdurrahman. Where is Adam and name?
Wait, will they also be able to ask questions?
Yes, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
يلا start. يلا.
يلا, it's ready. You can go to the next slide. So, inshallah, today we'll be presenting our day judgment.
Okay.
You can skip over this one because that was like for last week. Skip over this slide.
طيب, can you just be slowly so I can understand?
Right. Okay, Assalamu alaikum guys. So today we'll be, presenting our topic, which is the Day of Judgment. And of course, the Day of Judgment is such a long topic, and so we will have shortened it and condensed it. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, what is the Day of Judgment? So, the Day of Judgment is the last day in this dunya, in the beginning of our akhirah. It's when our souls will be resurrected into our bodies, and the day commences once Israfil blows his trumpet to kill everyone and everything left on earth. Then the second blow will be to kill himself. The Day of Judgment in Islam is very important. It's when our fate will be decided, and we will be decided if we're going to Jannah or Jahannam. As Muslims, we should all be terrified of this day due to the fact that whatever happens after this is will be permanent for some people, and for some people won't be permanent. The beauty of this is we'll be judged on our decisions that we make during this dunya. All right, next slide.
Just a minute.
Yes.
Just a minute. Any question regarding this?
No, I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. Why are you reading so fast?
Yeah,
I can keep up with you because I know the Day of Judgment. But if I didn't know anything about the Day of Judgment, I wouldn't have known anything. Why are you reading so fast?
I'm sorry. Okay.
I mean, it's not a big deal, but
just okay.
I don't realize it. Sorry.
خلاص. Noted. طيب. Now you said that the first blow, everybody will die, right?
Yeah,
and
everyone. Yeah.
And the second, he will kill himself.
Yeah.
What's the difference for this information?
What do you mean? What's the difference?
How, is it a story? We're not saying a story. You should have a reference. You should have a who said so?
Not sure.
Type. I need to be sure. I need your team now, Adam and Abdurrahman, during this presentation. I need after a while he finish. I need if this is true or not.
Wait. Yusuf, what was the question that Yusuf doesn't know?
About the Israfil.
Oh, what about
when he will blow? The first blow will be everybody on earth will die. The second one, as per what's said here,
kill himself?
He will kill himself. I need everybody I need something saying that Quran, Hadith, whatever. From where we know.
I don't know. I'm not
So
sure.
I know you should be sure. Whatever you are writing, you are not writing something about epic. It's something will happen, and we know this from Quran or Sunnah. So there should be something saying this for us. It's not
I
that
have a
we are.
question. Homa, if they don't know the answer to it and like one of us knows the answer, are we allowed to like answer it for them?
Of course, it's around tables.
And I think there's an ayah in the Quran about the specific time where like the trumpet is born, and then the like what happens to like the earth when the trumpet is born. I know that's from the Quran.
Yes, for both.
I've also heard from the Quran that what is his name? Is his name Angel Jibreel? What is his name? What's his name?
No, Israfil.
Oh, the
Jibreel
angel
is
Jibreel?
Jibreel is the one who is bringing the books down. The al-wahy. Don't know how you say al-wahy in English.
So when I heard that when Angel Safir blows the first blow, so the sentence is correct at everybody. But then I also heard that Allah will tell him to kill himself and all the angels, I believe. I'm not sure about that though.
No. We should be sure. Anybody knows about this?
And I know that in it's in the we know about like this part specifically about the blowing of the trumpet from the Quran.
Yes, for the first one, I agree with you. What about the second one? So Abdul Rahman and Adam, during this session, I need you to give me the correct answer or the evidence or from where we come to know that. Tell me that this ayah, this hadith, whatever, saying so and so.
No, I don't think he does.
Who he?
I just looked it up a bit, and it doesn't. I can't find anything that says that the second one's to kill himself, but I found it says that he blows the trumpet twice. The first one, it says, and when the trumpet is blown with a single blast, and the earth and the mountains are borne away and dissolved like powder, on that day you shall be exposed to view. And that's in Surah al-Haqqa, ayah 13 to ayah 17.
Okay.
And then another one is just like here it mentions he blows the trumpet twice. It says the trumpet will be sounded when all that is in the heavens and the earth will soon away, except such as it will please God to exempt. Then a second one will be sounded when behold they will be standing and looking on, and that's in Surah Az-Zumar. Az-Zumar, my bad. Ayah 68.
Perfect. So what you are saying here for the second blow is not correct.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure that's wrong.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Second slide.
The day of judgment will occur. The day of judgment will occur is unknown by everyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though we do not have an exact date for the day of judgment, we have information that proves that we are getting closer to this day. This information is the minor and the major signs of the day of judgment. There are tons of information to go over, many that have already happened. We must feel the day of judgment is very near. The fact that we do not know when this will happen is very scary, which is why it is extremely important for us to be the best Muslims we can every single day. Classes like the one that we're in right now will help us because this will make our deen and our iman stronger.
Okay.
Now, why is there a day of judgment? The day of judgment in Islam is very important. It's when our fate will be decided. We talked about this. And if we're going to Jannah or Jahannam, the beauty is that we are judged on our decisions. And Muslims can choose to have fun in the dunya or in the akhirah. Muslims can choose to sin on earth. For example, you can drink, you can smoke, you can have premarital sex, all these things that you can enjoy on earth, but then you will regret it on the day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has warned us about these things that we can or cannot do. And if we make a mistake, you can repent to Allah and ask for forgiveness because He's the most merciful and forgiving.
In the second paragraph, why you are saying Muslims?
نعم.
The second paragraph, the beauty of this is we will have judged on our decision. Muslims can choose to tap. Only Muslim can choose, or
No.
everyone can?
Or everyone, yeah.
Everyone can choose.
Yeah.
And you are يعني, only concentrating on sins. What about faith? It's before sins. يعني Muslims, yes, they can make sense, but they have some faith, which could be good for them and after. But what about the faith itself? So it's not only about sins, it's also about faith. Because, okay, some Muslims will do sins. Everyone can, nobody is معصوم. يعني ايه معصوم? Is
Perfect.
Prohibited from not making sense. Nobody is perfect, yes. So everybody will make sin. I will make sin. Everybody.
Yeah.
So sense is a big thing, but it's not the main thing.
Yes.
So you have to mention faith, tawheed, iman. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, why? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Some minor signs of the Day of Judgment. 3 sinkings in the earth, one in the east, one in the west, and one in Arabia. The Euphrates will uncover a mountain of gold. Nomads will compete in construction of tall buildings. And then, last but not least,
Who? Sorry, nomads? What's nomads?
will compete in
What's nomad? أنا مش فاهم يعني إيه nomads.
a member or of people having a permanent abode and who will travel to place to find fresh pasture for their livestock. Or a person who does not stay in the same place. Okay.
Yeah, it's a group of people that don't live in the same place.
Exactly.
Okay. هي الحفاة الرعاة.
Now.
Okay, go ahead.
Jews fighting Muslims. Now, we have seen some of these minor sins. For example, the competition of taller buildings, and then Jews fighting Muslims, which is happening in Palestine, and this shows we are getting closer to the Day of Judgment.
All right.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
What do you mean by the first 2 sentences? 3 sinkings in the earth, one in the east, one in the west, and one in Arabia. And what do you mean the Euphrates will uncover a mountain of gold? What do you mean by these?
What do you mean? What's the point? Like, what do you mean? What do I mean? Like,
Omar, these are
minor signs of the Day of Judgment.
Day of Judgment. That means
No, I'll tell you.
So first sentence, you're saying that the earth is sinking on the east, west, and Arabia. Is that what you're trying to say? Then what does
there will be 3 sinkings. One will be in the east, one will be in the west, and one will be in Arabia.
Okay, then what does Euphrates mean then?
It's a river. It's a river in Iraq. A name of a river in Iraq. You know Iraq, the country?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is the name of a river there. Like the river Nile in Egypt, this is a river in Iraq. This river, there will be a mountain of gold.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. I saved your... Okay.
Yeah.
Next slide. What's this?
Some of the major signs will be the war with Ya'juj and Ma'juj, Al-Masih ad-Dajjal, and then the final days.
What's the final days?
The final days on Earth.
طيب. Okay.
All right, nope, never mind. I just got the answer for my question.
Okay. I don't like the presenting of Al-Masih ad-Dajjal, but I understand what you are trying to say, or what's this trying to say, anyhow.
Al-Masih ad-Dajjal, he's a very distinct looking one-eyed man. He has already arrived on Earth and is living on an isolated island that nobody knows about. It will be somewhere else in the world. someday in the future, Dajjal will appear, and his name translates to the deceiver. Dajjal's whole thing is he will be trying to deceive us. So that's why if Dajjal would come to you and ask you if you want to be go to Jannah, you'd ask him you want to go to Jahannam, because Dajjal is his whole thing is about deceiving us. And people who don't have strong faith in Iman will be tricked by him. Even Muslims will be tricked by him. Most of his followers will be Yahudi because they think he was the long-awaited Messiah that they never got. And 70,000 Yahudis will be wearing very expensive silk and carrying double-edged swords. And a lot of Muslims will see him as good, even if they have previous knowledge about him, because they might have previous knowledge, but their Iman might not be very strong, so they could end up following him.
Okay.
I actually have a question. How do you know that the Dajjal only has one eye? Where's your proof about that?
It's in the Quran.
No. It's hadith.
Hadith. Sorry, I know. I remember. I was gonna say hadith. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's hadith. Okay. All the good Muslims will see the word kafir on his forehead, leading to them not following him. His reign will last 40 days, but one day will last 1 year, one day will last a month, and one day will last a week, and the rest of the days are normal. On the last day, he will be unable to enter Mecca or Medina, so he will march into Jerusalem. This is where Prophet Isa will return, and the good Muslims will gather in order to fight the Yahudis. This is also when the Mahdi arrives. Prophet Isa ﷺ will kill Dajjal at the gate of Lud. After Dajjal's death, Prophet Isa ﷺ will receive a revelation stating that Ya'juj and Ma'juj will be released soon. So he takes all the believers to Mountain Tur or Mount Sinai, and we have this information from the Hadith due to the fact that the Dajjal is never mentioned in the Quran, which is what I was going to get to. I forgot when he asked where to get this from. It's from Hadith.
Okay. طيب. Okay. يعني I don't want to make it hard for you, but okay. No problem.
في حاجة غلط؟
مش غلط، بس مش كل حاجة صح 100%. بس لو غلط أنا هتكلم، بس هي مش غلط 100%. يعني
like it's not 100% accurate.
And I think I can answer this a little bit.
Oh my god.
So a lot of the stuff about, because it's not directly in the Quran, a lot of this stuff is like there's different beliefs and there's a lot of speculation on a lot of things. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff when it comes to the Dajjal and to like the signs of the day and judgment, there's a lot of differences in opinion. So maybe you guys have picked something that like the majority of people don't agree on, or it's like a small group of people believe in.
Yes, exactly. And also the يعني يعني اقولها هي ربط الاحداث ببعض. يعني ايه؟ ان حرب اليهود هتبقى في الوقت اللي كان دوت. لا غالبا
حرب so the sequence of events is also something that is like very contradictory, not contradictory, but like not a ton of people agree on the exact sequence of events. Exactly. And that's like one of the other things.
It's said separately. يعني the war with the Yahud is different than Dajjal, different than Mahdi. Some people try to connect together, but it's not accurate. It's not, there is no proof for this connection.
Okay.
So, okay, no problem. Maryam I and the other eyes. Are you following? UK people?
Yeah.
Good. Qatar people, are you following?
Yes.
Good. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. The war with Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Ya'juj and Ma'juj are also already on Earth, and they are trapped in a mountain that we don't know about. Every day, they're able to carve out a hole in the mountains in hopes of their escape, just to come back the next morning and see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has undone it. The hole is back. It's back to being filled. One day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will stop doing it, and they will be released. There are reportedly 999 Ya'juj and Ma'juj for each human on Earth. and all the good Muslimin will be safe because Isa alayhi salam will have taken them to Mount Tur. Ya'juj and Ma'juj will destroy everything in their path, and they will split into 2 groups and eventually take over the world. They will make it into Jerusalem thinking they have taken over the world.
طيب many comments هنا. أول حاجة هو مش mountain, they are not trapped in a mountain, but it's a سد. سد يعني إيه؟ سد يعني إيه؟
It's a valley. They're trapped
Dam.
between a valley, and then there's like a big
Dam.
sheet of like metal.
Dam. A dam.
But it's between
Like-
2 mountains.
Yeah, and there is
So
a
it's
dam.
a valley.
Who built this dam? Who can tell me?
Who was
Was
the
it-
king? I can't remember his name right
Yeah,
now.
I can't remember his name, but and I remember when I was doing my research, I saw it multiple times. It was I forgot his name.
Wait, what? Can you tell me the letter that his name started with?
Anyway.
أنا؟
Yes.
أنا؟
Oh, Dhul Qarnayn.
تمام. جوجل شاطر. Google did it. Okay.
No, my brain.
Your brain? Yes, I know Google is your brain.
Because
Google is the brain of everybody.
when I was researching for Ya'juj and Ma'juj, it was like on every single like article I read and everything I read, it was everywhere. الاسم ده.
ايوه ذو القرنين ورد في سورة الكهف. يعني ربنا لما ربنا يقدرنا ونوصل لسورة الكهف ونحكي القصص بتاعت سورة
الكهف. I can
الكهف.
tell you guys everything, all the questions about سورة الكهف. I'm learning about it in Sunday school.
Good. So ذو القرنين هو اللي بنى السد اللي حابس يأجوج ومأجوج وان هم ما يطلعوش، وهم زي ما انت قلت كده بيحاولوا يكسروا السد ده، وكل ما يعملوا فتحة يرجعوا يلاقوها اتقفلت تاني، لغايه ما في يوم من الايام هيقولوا بكره هنكمل ان شاء الله. هييجوا تاني يوم يلاقوا الفتحه ما اتقفلتش ويكملوا عليها ويبتدوا يطلعوا. حته ان انت they are 999 of each human in earth، لا هم 999 واحد هيخشوا النار. يعني هو ربنا قال ان في من كل 1000 واحد هيخش الجنه، من كل 1000 واحد هيخش الجنه. 999 منهم من يأجوج ومأجوج، وواحد هيخش الجنه. فهم اوكي، يعني الرقم صح بس مش ده التفسير بتاعه. تمام اوكي. Go ahead.
Ya'juj and Ma'juj, they will shoot arrows into the sky, and these arrows will turn blood-stained. Prophet Isa and the Muslims will be deeply struggling, and they're going through a lot of hardships on Mount Tur. They'll pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to end the chaos, and for the fall of the Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Their prayers will be granted, and Ya'juj and Ma'juj will get a deadly infection which makes them burst. Due to the huge number of Ya'juj and Ma'juj, there are tons of dead, stenching corpses all over the floor. The Muslimin will pray once more, and Allah sends a huge bird to pick up and dispose of all the Ya'juj and Ma'juj corpses into the ocean.
اوكي. هو بس في حاجه انت كذا مره قلتها، بروفيت عيسى ويأجوج ومأجوج، هل هيكون القصتين مع بعض؟ مفيش دليل على الكلام ده. هم المسلمين هيطلعوا في جبل الطور اللي هو في سيناء ويهربوا من اليأجوج ومأجوج في جبل الطور اللي هو في سيناء، ده صحيح. لكن هل سيدنا عيسى
مش الليدر بتاعهم هيبقى الراجل that has the same name as محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم؟
المهدي المنتظر.
Yes بالظبط.
المهدي المنتظر. لكن هل سيدنا عيسى فين في القصه دي؟ هل هو موجود ولا هو خلاص مات؟ مفيش حاجه بتقول ان سيدنا عيسى موجود في القصه دي. بس
انا when I was doing my research I found ان هو كان معاهم، وبعدين بعد لما كل ده حصل he died and then they buried him next to Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم.
عليه الصلاة والسلام.
خلينا نحن نقول قصص كتيره زي ما مريم قالت، القصص كتيره، لكن الماجوريتي والحاجات اللي عليها دليل من حديث هي اللي انا بتكلم عليها. الباقي بعد كده هو في ناس بتحب تفيل جابس، لان الحديث ما بيقولكش الستوري كامله، ففي ناس بتحب تفيل الجابس ديت عشان تعمل وان ستوري، وان بيج ستوري، يعني عشان يبقى عندك سيكونس كانك عايز تعمل فيلم. تخيل انت عايز تعمل فيلم وانت عندك بيتس اند بيسز من قصه، فبيبقى في جابس انت عايز تملاها. فده اللي بيحصل، ان في ناس بتملى الجابس ديت استنتاج، يعني they think this، لكن مفيش حاجه بتقول ان الجاب ده هيتملى بالطريقه دي. ده اللي انا بقوله، ان انا مش بقول انه صح ومش بقول انه غلط، بس بقول ان الكلام ده معلهوش دليل.
فاهم.
يمكن فاهم ان احنا نطلع من سيدنا عيسى ندخل في قصه ياجوج وماجوج، الربط ده مش موجود في قصه سيدنا عيسى وفي قصه ياجوج وماجوج. هل سيدنا عيسى هيعيش لغايه ما ياجوج وماجوج يجوا ولا مش هيعيش؟ مفيش حاجه بتقول الكلام ده، مفيش حديث بيقول الكلام ده. Clear for everybody or should Mariam do translation also?
It's clear.
Clear.
Okay. طيب. How much time did we take till now? Yeah.
We don't have that much more. So.
Only like 2 slides, I think. Or
No, a couple more.
طيب, go ahead.
Okay. So life after Ya'juj and Ma'juj. After the fall of Ya'juj and Ma'juj, there will be an ultimate peace on earth. It will rain for 40 days straight, and in order to cleanse the earth, it will take the Muslimin 7 years to burn all the arrows of Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and the Muslimin will live peacefully with Prophet Isa alayhi salam, and for a couple years until his death. Prophet Isa will then be buried next to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam in Medina.
Okay.
on the slide where it had the major signs, when it said the final days, and we didn't mean to like saying that is a sign. That's just like the phase of slides.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The final days, Prophet Isa's death will mean that Qiyamah is extremely close. First, the ground will cave in the east, in the west, and in Hijaz, Saudi Arabia. Then a 40-day-long fog will commence, leaving Muslimin developing colds and non-believers going unconscious. Then a night will occur that is actually the span of 3 nights during the month of Dhul Hijjah. The sun will then rise from the west. Then a beast will come out of the ground in Mount Safa, Mecca, and he will be able to differentiate the Muslims from the non-believers.
يعني
I have a question.
اتفضل.
Didn't you say that all the non-believers like got killed from the Ya'juj and Ma'juj?
No, we didn't say that.
We didn't.
Oh, alright. Well, my bad.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. يعني في a lot of rumors يعني مش حاجات accurate يعني هو في السلايد ده. يعني محتاج يبقى more accurate الكلام. Anyway وبرضه تاني هقول السيكونس، مفيش حد يعرف السيكونس ايه هيحصل قبل ايه، مفيش حد عارف ايه اللي هيحصل قبل ايه. anyhow. طيب.
Next, there will be a breeze from the south, which will create swords in the Muslims people's armpits. After developing these swords, all the Muslimin will die, but the non-believers will not. Next, the Kaaba will be destroyed by an Ethiopian non-Muslim group. And finally, the last sign is the fire which arises in Yemen and follows people into Syria, but then stops. This is the final sign of Qiyamah, marking the end of the dunya. After the final sign, Israfil will blow his trumpet twice and officially commence the scariest day for all Muslimin, the Day of Judgment.
all people مش all Muslims. برضو السيكونس الكعبة هتتهد امتى؟ برضو ده مش محدش بيقول انه في الوقت دوت. النار هي اخر حاجة فعلا اللي هتطلع، لان هي هتاخد الناس على سوريا، وهي اللي هتبقى ارض المحشر، هي اللي هيحصل فيها الحشر بتاعت الناس. الدخان اللي هيقبض ارواح المسلمين دي برضو هتبقى من الحاجات الاخرانيه. لكن الكعبه في مكانها هنا هوت ممكن تكون الكعبه قبل كده بكتير، مش شرط. ولما بنقول كلوز خلي بالنا ان احنا القرآن قال ايه؟ قال اقتربت الساعه وانشق القمر. انشقاق القمر ده حصل ايام الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم في مكه. فات حوالي لغايه دلوقتي فات زياده عن 1400 سنه من ساعه انشقاق القمر، اكتر من 1400 سنه.
So you're saying in the like
فكلمة اقترب يعني ممكن الحدث يعني one incident من دول تحصل وبعديها ب1000 سنة تحصل الانسيدنت اللي بعديها. مش اللي هم ان هم النهارده السبت هيحصل كده والحد هيحصل كده والاثنين هيحصل كده. مش الاقتراب دوت وان هم ورا بعضيهم مش بالشكل دوت. انا مش بقول ان المكتوب غلط، بس بقول ان عشان بس نبقى متصورين ان الاحداث مش ورا بعضيها بالشكل اللي احنا بنقوله دوت.
احنا we didn't want to like make it like too long.
Okay.
So I just like tried famously like not to minimize.
Okay, it's just awareness, like awareness. Okay.
This slide is saying how to stay a good and pure Muslim. Now, so this is a slide I made. I just show you guys some good ways to stay a good and pure Muslim. Hang out with people who make you a better person.
Like Yusuf, مثلا.
Thank you. Inshallah. Thank you. Number 2, ask for forgiveness from Allah when you do a bad deed or anything bad. Follow the sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Go to the mosque normally and make it part of your normal life. And that's also one of the 7 ways that you can be under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's shade on the Day of Judgment is by if your heart is part of the mosque, so you're always going to the mosque and you're part of the mosque, you know. Ignore your bad ideas and forget about them, and pray 5 times a day and say Ayatul Kursi after every prayer. There's a hadith that if you pray 5 times a day, if you pray your 5 fard and you say Ayatul Kursi after every prayer, the only thing stopping you from entering Jannah is your death. And the last one, read and memorize Quran as much as possible.
تمام. طيب وفي طبعا سورة الكهف 10 آيات من سورة الكهف ليك من الدجال.
انك I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that. Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you.
Oh, listen. I thought we finished. Okay.
This is the last. I think the last slide. What will the Day of Judgment be like? To finish off the presentation, I will talk about what the Day of Judgment will be like. The Day of Judgment will be extremely scary, and we will all be naked and all have and all the bad things that we have done will be exposed. It will be extremely hot, and some people will have sweat up to their knees, and some will be drowning in their own sweat. These will be the people who have done extremely bad things in their lifetime. Some people, on the other hand, will be an exception, and they will be under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's shade from his throne. We will all be scared, and some people will ask others for some good deeds, and on the Day of Judgment, no one will care. So if you ask anyone for good deeds, no one will care. Your family won't care about you. Your best friends won't care about you. No one will. Some people will take from other people's good deeds, and for example, if you talked about people very badly in your lifetime, those people will take from your good deeds. And then and we ask Allah.
So you cannot give your father, you cannot give your mother, you cannot give your brother, you cannot give your sister, but the one you hate maybe will take from your deeds.
Exactly. I always think about that. It's like when people always talk about how they hate and they talk bad about them, it's funny because you will talk bad about the person you hate, but then you're actually giving them good deeds.
Okay.
And so we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the Day of Judgment easy for us. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. حد عنده حاجة يقولها؟ Any comment, any question?
I think the presentation was actually well made.
I think that was a great presentation. It's a very good job from you.
And
I personally thought it was really good. I think it was kind of interesting that Yusuf is the only one that read, but other than that, I thought it was a really well-made presentation.
Maryam, at the very beginning when we did make this project, it was established that the team managers were the ones presenting, but okay, you can try and attack me however you want.
I'm not trying to attack you. I was just saying something. You don't have to get defensive.
I'm not getting defensive, Maryam.
That seemed very defensive.
You literally have 0 earnings.
Okay, well, I mean, I just thought it was interesting because I think in our presentation we were really big on teamwork.
I just had a question.
Go ahead.
Oh, what was Adham in the presentation? Because his name wasn't on the first slide. I was just wondering.
I mean,
They
I
are
don't know.
they are playing يعني they are using the okay.
No, I
They
was
are
just wondering
politics.
because he answered a question, so I was just wondering if it was like part of their presentation.
هو ربنا في القرآن قال إن كيدكن عظيم. يعني مش عارف اترجمها ازاي بصراحة. لو هدى تعرف تترجمها يبقى
مش مريم المفروض تبقى translate.
Well, and I see where Aisha's coming from a little bit because before we did the presentations, you said that the most important part was that we would work as a team.
Yeah, you are firing them.
What's wrong? We worked as a team.
Okay.
Well, it was just a question.
Wait, Mariam, who?
Yeah, I was just wondering because he answered a question, so I didn't know if it was like from an outside perspective or from like the presenter's perspective.
I don't know. I don't know what
Aisha,
was
who? Who?
Adham, he said like
who asked?
You're so funny.
The teacher actually asked if we had any questions of Niraman.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it. But it was a really good presentation. Good job.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Hi?
Yeah, I thought it was really well done, actually. Like, actually, I thought it was really good.
Okay, everyone, let's settle down. No fighting, please.
I need to know from the people outside our
you can.
Our audience. Huda.
I thought it was really good, that presentation.
Who's talking? Mariam. Okay.
Yeah, it was really well done.
Rated.
Very informative as well.
0 to 10.
I think 10.
10.
Yeah.
You're very okay. Who else?
I really liked the presentation. I thought it was well put together.
Okay. Rate it.
Maybe a 9.
Perfect.
I thought it was good as well.
Rate it?
Probably an 8.5 because they were talking a little bit fast and it was hard to follow along, but it was good.
You know, they're American, the American.
Yeah.
I'm actually British, yeah.
They are British, yeah. The British.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't even.
Okay, Huda.
Yeah, I think the presentation was good too. They presented well, but maybe they needed a little bit more preparation, or maybe they needed to make sure that they are getting their information from reliable resources. But other than that, it was presented well and the information was pretty good too. So well done.
Great. Huda is my daughter, by the way.
Yes.
I thought so because of the last name.
Okay, and she's the teacher for the kids session.
Yes, nice to meet you all. If I'm gonna rate it, I'll give them an 8.5 as well.
8.5 also?
Yes.
Very okay. Okay. So, Mariam, ready?
Wait, I have a question real quick.
Go ahead.
Are these presentations going to be presented to the parents?
No, you refused.
We did?
We didn't even have an answer. We didn't have a say in it.
You didn't say anything. I received only answer from Mariam. So I thought, this is nobody commented on that.
Okay. It's fine. I'm not, yeah.
But they can always go back and watch the recording, so.
And I thought we were going to present to them.
I asked that, but Mariam said no. So I told them, don't come. They were coming. I told them yesterday to come. And I told them to come. Then Mariam sent today means my timing, this morning, that she doesn't want them to come. So I told them, don't come.
So may I ask why?
So the only reason I sent it that late is because I was waiting on one person on my group to answer because I asked all of them what they wanted, and I was just waiting for an answer. And it was a group decision. It wasn't necessarily like
your decision only.
Yeah, but it was, I don't like homo, I think, and it was just like the default because they don't really come to any of our other things. So like, I don't think it was, no one gave me any specific reasons, but I don't think they had any specific reasons.
Anyhow, no problem. It's your call.
I agree.
Yeah, okay. We start with Mariam. Any?
I don't know if they have enough time. They only have 10 minutes left.
Keep quiet.
Okay.
And I think in Nihna we can go over the time a little bit.
Yeah, we had like a 3-hour session once.
I don't think it's going to take like a very, very long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm starting. So in today's society, specifically to non-Muslims, Islam is a religion that many believe to be extremely oppressive. No, we're in the first slide. Lissa, the first slide.
Okay.
The intro. And I'll tell and I can tell you when to switch.
Okay.
I'll start again. Sorry. In today's society, specifically to non-Muslims, Islam is a religion that many believe to be extremely oppressive towards women. The rhetoric used around the description of Islam's treatment to women often includes words such as inferior, oppressed, and unequal. These stereotypes are often used to paint Islam as an extremely oppressive religion. The people that use this rhetoric fail to understand that out of all of the religions in the world, Islam is one of the ones that provides women with the most rights. Islam is one of the only religions that elevates women in societies and protects them against the evils of the world.
Throughout societies, we see the concept of women having not having a right to be educated, having limited rights in their marriage, having extremely limited property rights, not being able to have an identity outside of being a wife and mother, and many other things. Islam throws these ideas aside and promotes women in many different ways.
Wait, I have a question.
Ask.
Are we supposed to be on a slide with?
No, it's just the women in Islam slide. This is just our introduction.
Oh. Okay.
There's a common misconception with modern-day Muslims and non-Muslims alike that men and women are not equal. This is due to the fact that many people have a poor understanding of the definition of the word equal. In Islam, men and women are regarded as equals but not as identical. It gives men and women their respective roles based on their gender, but they're still seen equally in the eyes of God, with neither of them being superior or inferior. Both men and women have jobs that they are required to fulfill, yet they both can be considered equal.
And we see this concept it's presented to us in many different verses in the Quran. One of them argues that both genders are incomplete without the other one. Like everything else in the universe, they are created in pairs. And then there's another ayah that says that in the eyes of God, they're seen as equal and they're protectors of each other.
So in our presentation, we will be showcasing the many different ways in which Islam grants rights to women and how the religion, rather than being oppressive to women, is extremely uplifting and puts women in a very high regards. We often question what is the role of women in Islam. We hope that this presentation may offer you some answers to this very important question. Can we go to the next slide, please? So now we will be talking about rights granted to women. So as far as
Can you press it one more time so the things come up? Okay, there.
So as far as monotheistic religions go, Islam is thought to be one of the most granted to rights to women. Islam aims to protect Muslim women, and it does so by providing them with specific rights. These includes a woman's right in marriage, child custody, divorce, inheritance, social rights, and many others. First, in Islam, a woman has a right to refuse a marriage. Women are not allowed to be forced into a marriage that they have not consented for.
A woman is also allowed to get a divorce if she deems it to be necessary. This is something very specific to Islam because women are seen as transferable properties in other religions where they are essentially owned by others, therefore limiting their rights. We will be discussing the 3 different types of divorce. These include talaq, tafriq, and khula. Talaq, the man divorces the woman. He is required to pay child support regardless of custody. The woman has the right to stay in the man's house and receive financial aid until her waiting period is over. Tafriq, the judge grants a woman divorce, which is initiated by the wife or a blood relative of the wife, without consent of the husband, because of physical, social, or financial harm. The husband is also required to pay child support regardless of custody, and the woman also has the right to stay in the man's house and receive financial aid until her waiting period is over. Khula, the woman can divorce the husband based on any legitimate concern. The woman must return any dowry or anything received by the husband in the beginning of the marriage. A woman also has inheritance rights. This is something that contrasts many other religions due to the fact that women are often viewed as property themselves and not allowed to own things. These include women inherit less or half than men in 4 situations. For example, if the deceased leaves a daughter and a son or a grandson and a granddaughter. Women inherit equal to men in 10 situations. For example, if the deceased leaves a uterine brother and sister. Women inherit more than men in 16 different situations. For example, if the deceased leaves a husband and 1 daughter or a husband and 2 daughters. All situations where the inheritance is not the same for both men and women is due to a difference in relationship to the deceased or financial responsibility over the other.
Women in Islam are religiously allowed to get an education as long as they are permitted to do so by their guardian. This is an important thing to mention because it is a contrast from many other religions. The idea of seeking knowledge is something both genders are encouraged to do. In marriage, the woman has a right to keep any of the money she makes. If she has a job, any of the money which she makes belongs solely to her and is not required to spend any of that money on the family, which is a contrast from the male in the household who is required to spend the money on the family and provide for his spouse.
Next slide, please. Okay, so in this slide, I will be discussing the comparison of women in Islam and Christianity. One of the most important differences in Islam and Christianity is the concept of original sin that arose when Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit. In Christianity, the Bible states that it was Eve that was deceived by the devil and ate from the tree, and then Adam followed her. In Islam, Adam and Eve took it upon themselves to eat from the tree together. Christianity blames the punishment of humans to earth solely on Eve and her ability to be deceived by Satan. It is also said in Christianity that the reason that women suffer during childbirth is because Eve decided to eat from the tree, disobeying God's orders, and that was a direct punishment for the rest of women. The concept of women being deceitful is found in many different places in the Bible. Women in the Bible, although many of them are seen as highly respected, are also painted to be deceiving and calculating characters. In Ecclesiastes 25:25, the Bible states, "Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die." This is one of the verses that connects women to all sin. It places the concept of sin solely on the shoulders of the woman. In Christianity, if a woman is being abused in her marriage, she is required to stay in it. A woman's role in Christianity is often depicted solely as a mother to her children and a wife to her husband. This is something that many scholars argue to be extremely limiting of Christian women. It is true that there are many well-respected women in Christianity, but these women are still thought to be inferior to men and have limited rights. Another very famous verse that teaches Christians that women are inferior to men can be found in Timothy 2, lines 11 through 14. It states, "A woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. For Adam was formed first and then Eve. and Adam was not the one deceived. It was woman who was deceived and became a sinner. This concept is found regularly all over the Bible, and it is used today by modern Christians to push the idea that women are a subset of men and automatically inferior to them. Historically, in Christianity, women's roles were very limited to the house. They were not allowed to receive an education until fairly recently in Christian history. From a historical standpoint, Christianity has been one of the most limiting religions for women due to the rhetoric used to strip women away from their rights, whether it being social, political, or personal. In Islam, women are painted in a very different light. They are not shown to be deceitful and sinful, but rather are highly respected and described as very important characters. In contrast to Christianity, a woman is allowed to have an education as long as she is permitted to do so by her guardian. This means that in Islam, the concept of a woman getting an education and becoming more than just a wife or a mother is something that is permissible.
Modern-day Christianity argues that modesty is something which is up to the woman, and she is also to interpret modesty as she sees fit. More conservative Christian women who have devoted their lives to the religion, such as nuns, do choose to cover their hair. Christian women are supposed to not follow the rules of society and attempt to be more modest, but very few Christian women follow these teachings, unlike in Islam, where the majority of Muslim women today observe modest wear in some form. Christian teachings do not put pressure on modesty the same way which they put pressure on other issues. This is something which has caused Christian women, especially in the Western world, to be objectified by society.
Next slide.
No, I have a lot of comments here.
Okay.
طيب أول حاجة احنا بنتكلم على المسيحية، بنتكلم على أنهي مسيحية؟ احنا عارفين عندنا في كاثوليك وفي بروتستانت وفي أرثوذكس والفكرة مختلفة فيهم.
عمو, isn't there like almost like a billion?
Well, technically, so those are the three main ones under Protestant.
No, I'm joking with you guys.
Okay.
No, there is a lot.
I know there's like over 1,000 probably. There's definitely over 1,000 different Bibles.
بس هو like مثلا Methodist is a type of Protestant. Like يعني they all came from like Protestant.
لا كلهم جايين اساسا
No, انا قصدي انا بتكلم على اللي يوسف بيتكلم عليه, like the ones that we see in America today, majority of them came through like
من
Protestant.
صح. بس انتوا عندكم كمان يوا ويتنس دول ولا اسمهم
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Jehovah's Witnesses
أيوة, so the majority of like Western Christianity came through Protestantism.
طيب خلاص, مثلا البروتستانت عندهم طلاق, الكاثوليك ما عندهمش طلاق. الكنيسة الإنجليزية يعني عندنا ناس من UK دلوقتي. The UK يعني the Queen Elizabeth she cannot be divorced. يعني هي نفسها كان كوين إليزابيث كان عندها مشاكل مع برنس اسمه ايه؟
تشارلز.
لا her husband. فيليب يس. لما كانوا صغيرين كان عندها مشاكل مع فيليب, ونتيجة ان هي she's the head of the English church she cannot get a divorce. The Elizabeth. ابن تشارلز عشان يقدر يحقق اللي هو عايزه اضطر يسيب انجلترا ويروح كندا. عم إليزابيث كان ملك, وعشان اكيد بتوع UK عارفين الهيستوري بتاع UK, وعشان هو يخالف تعليمات الكنيسة اضطر يتنازل عن العرش لاخوه ويسيب انجلترا. اعتقد عاش في فرنسا. ففي فروقات, فاحنا لازم نفرق ما بين, في حين ان احنا لو جينا نلاقي ان السيده مريم كانت بتتعلم مع سيدنا زكريا زي ما احنا خدنا في سوره آل عمران, كانت بتتعلم وكانت قاعده معاهم, كانت قاعده بتتعلم معاه, ما كانش فيه مشكله. ففي فرق ما بين المسيحيه اللي موجوده دلوقتي اللي هي متحرفه وبين اصلها. دي اول حاجه. تاني حاجة, المسيحية النهاردة كام واحد really following حتى المسيحية اللي متحرفة؟ في أمريكا كام واحد following المسيحية المتحرفة؟
فهو so I have like two things to say.
يعني إيه متحرفة؟
يعني ايه متحرفة؟
Like
diverted.
pious, like devoted or pious.
Like they are good.
Like they
Like
actually
they follow the book.
rules of the religion.
هي قصة
It's very
إن
rare for most.
كان في المسيحية وبعدين هم قعدوا غيروا فيها فبقى في الكاثوليك فجاء واحد اسمه مارتن لوثر غير مارتن لوثر كينج
because he fixed it.
غير مارتن لوثر كينج بتاع
Yes,
أمريكا.
I know. He saw everything that he didn't like and he changed it. He saw everything that he didn't like in the Bible and he made it to make more sense pretty much.
وهو كان أساسا هو كان قسيس واتجوز. هو كان المفروض ما يتجوزش عشان هو قسيس فاتجوز.
صح. Yes.
فهو غير حاجات كتيرة وعمل
I learned about that this year, April history.
What's it called? Anna, what I would say that me and my group, we talked about a lot is when we're discussing it. That's why a lot of times we use the we said modern day Christians.
Okay.
And for the divorce thing, that's like the reason that Christians are allowed to get divorced now is was a political thing. It wasn't a religious thing.
طيب كويس جميل. دلوقتي okay, go ahead.
Like, and even Christians nowadays, I would say 99% of them are aware of the fact that divorce is purely a political thing. And it came about through political reasons, not necessarily through religious reasons.
تمام. يعني أنا عشان
and that's again for the second thing with like in the whole modern day Christians aren't like a lot of them aren't very pious. That's why a lot of times we said modern day Christianity, and then when we talked about women being inferior to men, that's when I used verses directly from the Bible.
تمام. طيب دلوقتي أنا لو عايز أقول إن المسلمين الستات في الإسلام they have the rights. I compare something which is not يعني موجود actually ولا compare بالcivil rights بتاعت الومن النهارده. يعني النهارده انت بتقولي ان الست في الاسلام I'm challenging. انا واخد اللي هو بيسموها اللي هو محامي الشيطان اللي هو
the devil's advocate.
Yes بالظبط. فانا كده بقول ان انا دلوقتي انت بتقولي لي ان في الاسلام الست لما بتطلق هتعيش في بيت جوزها في فتره العده وتاخد فلوس في الوقت ده، في حين ان في القانون الامريكي هي بتاخد نص كل ما يملك، نص البيت، نص فلوسه، نص عربيته، نص كل حاجه اسبير. فانا دلوقتي اوكي، يبقى معنى الكلام دوت ان لا الاسلام كويس ولا المسيحيه كويسه، والسيفل لوز هي اللي انصفت المراه.
بس I never we never said anything specifically about like the rules of what happens to a woman in Christianity when she gets a divorce. Because the idea of a woman getting 50% is not a Christian concept.
لا انا مش بتكلم على الكريستيانيتي، انا بقول انت حطيتي الكريستيانيتي عشان هي سهل انك تقضي عليها، سهل ان انت تثبتي ان هي ما بتديش حقوق المرأة. طب what about the civil laws? What about the American civil laws?
But I'm not comparing. But I'm not comparing.
Why? This is my question. Why?
Why am I not comparing it?
Yes.
Because I just.
واحد if I'm disbeliever. أنا مش فارق معايا إنك compare with Christianity، لأن الكريستيانيتي أنا عارف it's fake. I don't believe in Christianity. أنا disbeliever. أنا بيسموه إيه؟ I have no religion. So أنا هشوف إن السيفل لوز بتدي حقوق للمرأة أكتر من الإسلام، لأن المرأة لو طلقت في أمريكا هتاخد نص كل حاجة، في حين في الإسلام.
Well, then I would make the argument that majority of critics of Islam are Christian. So that's why I compared it to Christianity rather than, because everyone that wrote any law in America is Christian. So even though the laws might not be Christian laws, the people that wrote them are still Christian.
Yeah, but they don't believe in Christianity. They are not practicing.
It doesn't, Basana, I think in Inta they don't practice it correctly, but so they still believe in it a lot more than they believe in Islam. So by us saying these points, it showcases how Islam provides rights to women that other religions don't necessarily.
No, what I'm trying to say that هم عدوا المرحلة دي. يعني عارف هم مش واقفين عند ان الست مش من حقها تتعلم ومش من حقها تتطلق ومش من حقها تتكلم، ومش واقفين في النقطه دي. هم واقفين ان الست بتاخد نص فلوس الراجل لما بتطلق منه، وان هي تقدر تروح المحكمه وترفع عليه قضيه وتاخد نص البتاع، او ان هم يقعدوا اتنين لويرز يقعدوا مع بعض ويعملوا اجريمنت مين هياخد ايه ومين مش هياخد ايه. ولو هي عندها جود كيس وعندها جود لوير، الزوج هيدفع كتير جدا.
Again, though, and I would argue that that is a very, very small portion of history, and that is something that is fairly recent. And for the majority of time in Christian history, women were not allowed to get a divorce. They were not allowed to get an education, and there was other things that they were not allowed to do. For Islam, they were allowed. So I think the argument in the Homa women are allowed to get 50% of the income. That has something that has come about in the last 50 years.
I think I know what you mean.
Fana, I'm comparing it to like when we talk.
Okay, خلاص.
Wait, do you mean like ولا في حد مش مسلم ومش Christian, like مثلا say an atheist, they don't want to look at Christianity and like
لا مش بس. انا النهارده لو اغلب اي واحده في امريكا النهارده لما هتيجي تقول لها المسيحيه بتقول كذا، هتقول لك انا مش لما يحصل لي مشكله مش هرجع للمسيحيه، انا هرجع للقانون. فانا مش محتاج انا عندي القانون ما عنديش، حتى لو هي بتروح للكنيسه كل يوم حد، لكن في الاخر هي لما يحصل لها مشكله هترجع للقانون. لو جه واحد قال لها تتجوز بالعافيه هترجع للقانون. لو حد
And I agree with that, and I see your perspective, but I also would argue that in America especially, or like in Western societies, although that might be true, being Christian is still a big part of their identity. So pointing out in Christianity where there are things that limit them is still very important, because it just showcases how Islam provides more rights to women.
طيب بصي، انا هقول لك القصه بتبقى فين. القصه ان هو في الاخر الانسان محتاج دين. هي القصه ان هم لما القصه في الاخر الانسان ما بيقدرش يعيش من غير دين. الانسان بيحس ان هو لازم في الاخر he has to believe in something. حتى لو هيبليف ان الطبيعه، او في نظريه التطور، او في نظريه التطور اللي اسمها ايه، الريفوليشن ثيوري، اسمها ايه؟ مش سامع يا هدى.
evolution theory.
evolution theory. سواء كان هيؤمن بديت، في الاخر هو محتاج حاجه يؤمن بيها، محتاج حاجه تجاوب له على اسئله كتيره قوي في دماغه، فاللي بيوفر له الاجابات دي الدين. فحتى لو هو stick with the laws، هو في الاخر محتاج يبقى فيه دين. اللوز لوحدها ما بتديهوش كل حاجه، فهي القصه كلها محتاجه ان يعني اكتر الناس اللي بتتكلم على حقوق المراه في الانسان في الاسلام بتنسى ان الدين شيء اساسي. يعني انا لو حد هيقول لي هتعمل برزنتيشن عن حقوق المراه في الاسلام، اول سلايد هيكون اهميه الدين. ليه اهميه الدين؟ عشان اقتل اي حد يجي يقول لي انا مش محتاج الدين، انا عندي لوز، I have my civil laws، وانا اقدر اتجوز اللي انا عايزه. انا لو عايز اتجوز الكلب بتاعي هتجوزه باي لو. انا لو انتوا عارفين يعني whatever I want، يعني مثلا I think in LA يعني they can do anything. فانا مش محتاج الدين، لكن انا اقول له لا انت محتاج الدين. وبعد ما اقنعه انه محتاج الدين، اقول له تعالى بقى نقارن الاديان. لان انا لو هقارن له باللي هو الاكستريم، او اللي بيسموها الحريه المطلقه، فما فيش حد هيقدر يقف قدام الحريه المطلقه. تخيل واحد بقول لواحد اعمل اللي انت عايزه، وبقول له لا انت هتعمل حاجات بس مش كل حاجه. فطبعا يعني لما اقول له اعمل اللي انت عايزه اكيد افضل، فلازم اقول له لا انت ما ينفعش تعمل اللي انت عايزه عشان 1 2 3 4. فاصبح احنا لازم هنعمل لك كونسترينز. تعالى بقى شوف الكونسترينز ديت، تعالى شوف الكونسترينز ديت. يبقى احنا قفلنا الباب ده. You've got my point?
Yeah, and I understood the point.
I understood it as well.
تمام. بس انا مبسوط جدا بصراحه، انا مستمتع، بس وده اللي خلاني اتكلم by the way.
Oh.
It was a really good point, honestly. It made me think,
Yeah, good. We are here to think, by the way, not just to listen.
But then also, like, there's one more thing. It's that in like America, and I think they have this in other countries as well, majority of divorces now, when they happen, the woman doesn't get 50%.
Because of the lawyers, or
because when two people get married, there's a marriage contract called a prenuptial, and you sign it and you decide before that whether, like, what each person is going to get in case of a divorce. And hatta you can add into your prenups, like, wealthier families add in that if a woman has a daughter, she will get $100,000, and if she has a son, she will get $500,000.
Okay.
So that's also what majority of people nowadays, especially ones that are going into a marriage with property, sign prenuptials.
بس مثلا بتاع Amazon.
That's because he didn't go into his marriage. He didn't have any property before he went into his marriage.
You know the story.
Yes, where his wife ended up taking 50%. Because if you don't sign a prenup, then legally he's obligated to give her 50% of any of his properties.
تمام.
What do you mean by you mean literal property, or what do you mean by property?
Property is anything that he has ownership of. So money, real estate, stocks.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Whatever, even furniture, cars, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay.
We can go to the next slide. No, it's fine. If anyone has questions, feel free to ask too.
So, next slide.
Oh, I do have a question though.
What?
You said that the majority of people go into marriage with a prenup, but only around 40%.
Majority of people that go into a marriage with property get prenups. Not majority of women in America get prenups.
You said property means anything though.
No, property means anything of like value. So for instance, if you're going into a marriage and all you own is a small apartment, and like you have less than, say, $50,000 in your bank account, you're not necessarily going to need to get a prenup, because like they can't take anything away from you, if that makes sense. But prenups are usually signed by people who have trust funds and they're going into a marriage with like a lot more money. That's why
actors are doing this.
It's not just actors. All my friends, and I know like my friends that I went to high school with, all of their parents had prenups.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next slide. Okay.
Okay, so there is one thing about Judaism that is extremely different than in Islam when it comes to women. This is the fact that the religion lineage runs down through the mother's side. This means that in contrast to how in Islam, a man is allowed to marry a non-Muslim woman, in Judaism, this is not permissible because the mom's side is the one that the religion travels down through. In Judaism, women are required to only cover their hair when they are married. They can do this by either using a scarf or a wig. The reason for this is depicted by among scholars. Many argue that it is because a woman is theoretically worth more when she is married, and is now complementing her religion duty. Other more critical beliefs argue that women are property, and when she is married, the hair coverage is both a protection from other men and an acknowledgement that she is married.
In stricter forms of Judaism, divorces are done when a man serves divorce documents to his wife. This contrasts Islam because in Islam, a woman has a right to choose to go through the divorce.
Another major difference within Islam and Judaism, when it comes to the rights of women, is that in Judaism, a man is completely entitled to his wife's income. If the wife decides that she wants to keep her own income to herself, she is then releasing her husband from his religious obligation to provide for her.
The religion provides very specific bare minimums that a husband is required to provide for his wife, and is not necessarily required to provide more if she asks. These bare minimums include enough bread for 2 meals per day, wood for cooking, fruits and vegetables, and a bare minimum allowance of a single silver coin per week. This is something that is completely different in Islam due to the fact that in Islamic marriages, a man is required to do more than the bare minimum for his wife if she asks for something and he is capable of providing it for her, then he is obligated to do so as long as it is not something completely absurd. Historically, Jewish women are not necessarily allowed to study Judaism. This is because it is thought that their role as a woman is strictly to the household. This means that women were not allowed to practice their religion to the extent of which men are allowed to practice their religion, and they are also not allowed to study their religion as much as their male counterparts are allowed to do so. An important thing to mention is that this is the more orthodox outlook on the religion. This is completely different from Islam, where women are highly encouraged to read and look into their religion and be very educated on it. Any questions or next slide?
It's okay. I'm fine.
There are many notable women in Islam, but we have decided to speak about the following women: Sayyida Khadija, Sayyida Maryam, Sayyida Asma, Sayyida Aisha, and Sayyida Nusayba. These women are presented to us as role models and are held in extremely high regards. Many of these women were also extremely important figures in early Islam. So Sayyida Khadija was the first wife of the Prophet, and more importantly, the first person to convert to Islam. She was born into wealth and came from a very influential family in Mecca. The Prophet and her were married for 25 years. She hired him and one of her merchants and proposed to him when she was 40 years old. Their age difference was 15 years, but they were extremely close and devoted to one another. She allowed the Prophet to leave his job as a merchant and financially support him while he preached Islam in Mecca. She's an extremely important Islamic character for many different reasons. Something that was extremely notable about her is that she was a successful businesswoman. One reason why she was an extremely important figure is that during the time when Muslims were being persecuted in Mecca, she used her wealth and power to assist Muslims in any way necessary. She is also thought to be the Prophet's favorite wife and one of the 4 most important Muslim women to ever live. Another example to prove her importance is the year following that which she died, which is often referred to as the year of sorrow. Sayyida Maryam is the only woman in the Quran who is mentioned by name. She's depicted as an extremely righteous woman who was very faithful to God. She is also known as the mother of Jesus and one of the most important women in the religion.
Sayyidina Asma is another very important character in Islam. When Abu Jahl told men to keep an eye on Asma, she was buying food and water for Abu Bakr and the Prophet. She outsmarted them in many ways, like how she filled a camel with wheat and got 3 more camels, two of which she led to another path, and the other would be full of food and supplies. During that time, it was whoever finds Muhammad gets a large number of camels. So a lot of men were looking for them. It was dangerous, but she eventually got to the cave and gave them supplies. And if you don't know, Sayyidina Asma is Abu Bakr's daughter, by the way.
Could we go to the next slide? Sayyida Aisha is argued to be the second most important wife of the Prophet. After Khadija died, Aisha was the only woman he married that was neither a widow nor someone who was previously divorced. She was married to him for a large portion of her life and a large portion during his prophethood. So many of the marital rules were delivered to us by her. She was argued to be a very educated woman. The hadiths she narrated are extremely important to us. It is said that she has narrated over 2,000 hadiths. She is also very important in religious history due to her involvement in politics.
Sayyidina Nusayba is another extremely...
Just a minute, Omar. You said Aisha was the second wife of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam?
No, she's argued to be the second most important wife.
Okay. But she's not the second wife. For your information. And after Khadija, he didn't marry Aisha. Before Aisha, there was another one. حد يعرف مين؟
سودة.
أيوه هدى؟
yes.
سودة صح. سيدة سودة. سيدة سودة اتجوزها الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم في مكة بعد السيدة خديجة عشان تاخد بالها من بناته، لأن هو كان عنده بنات، فكانت السيدة سودة وخطب السيدة عائشة واتجوزها في المدينة. فما هيش تاني واحدة. I thought you are saying she's the second, but she's not the second. So, but you didn't say anyway. Okay, sorry, Omar, go ahead.
Sayyidina Nusayba is another extremely well-respected and high-regarded woman in the religion. Nusayba, to go to the Prophet ﷺ, she had the opportunity once to go with Bara and a group of other men to see the Prophet, but women aren't allowed to travel with a group of men. Bara told her about a woman he knew who recently became Muslim, so Nusayba traveled to hear the Prophet in Mecca on the hill of Aqaba. During the Battle of Uhud, Nusayba helped men that were injured or fell in the war. When she heard the Prophet got hurt by a big stone, she grabbed a sword and fought the Muslims' enemy.
Are there any questions before we move on to the next slide?
No.
Okay, great. Okay, so the hijab is the covering that the women are obligated to wear in Islam. Hijab is a representation of modesty both physically and behavior-wise. Majority of women observe hijab by wearing a scarf that covers their hair. In more conservative thought, hijab is the covering of a woman's entire body except the hands and the face. Women are required to wear hijab in front of any person that they could theoretically marry. This means that they are not required to wear in front of their husband, father-in-law, father, brothers, grandfather, their own sons, their son-in-laws, their uncles, or prepubescent children.
The covering of woman is not just limited to the clothing she wears. She is also advised against wearing things such as perfume, nail polish, and anything that would draw attention to her.
There are many different reasons that a woman is required to wear hijab. One of the most important reasons why hijab is mandatory is because of its protection of women. Hijab is used to protect women against the objectification and over-sexualization of women. It allows women to become more than just a physical object for the pleasure of others. This is something that is extremely relevant in today's society. The over-objectification of women is something that can be observed everywhere you look, especially in the Western world. This includes, but is not limited to, women's sports where there are rules that require women to show more skin, all the way to TV ads where they use uncovered women to advertise products. This objectification of women causes their position in society to be stifled. It holds them back from reaching their full potential by not allowing them to become more than just their physical appearance. Hijab completely eliminates this idea by requiring women to cover, so society becomes forced to not see them as objects for their personal gain.
The other major reason why women are obligated to wear hijab is so that they can be identified as Muslim women. This is something that is extremely important because it connects to the idea of representing Islam wherever you go. This is why hijabi women are also required to be modest in their speech and actions, because wherever they go, they're a representation of their religion.
We hope that after this presentation, you all see that Islam is a religion that is very compassionate and uplifting to women. We also hope that you are all more educated on the concepts of the role of women in Islam and the many rights which they are offered. And then the last few slides, I put all of the scholarly articles or links to websites or videos we used to get our information from.
Perfect.
So does anybody have any questions about the presentation?
Any questions يا جماعة؟ طيب, our audience, your thoughts.
I really liked that presentation. I think it was very informative, really well put together, and I like that you all had turns speaking. Yeah, I really liked it.
Rate يا مريم.
10.
Okay. What else?
I really liked it too because I felt like it was really relevant for like today's society. I would also give it a 10.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. Layla?
Yeah, I liked it as well. I really liked how they put the information together and how they weren't just like reading off the screen. I thought it was really good. Yeah, I'd also give it a 10.
Huda?
Yes, the presentation was really well made, and it really they really seem to have prepared a lot for it, and it was very informative as well. So I would give them 9.8.
9.8? May I ask why the 0.2 they lost?
Because there's obviously room for improvement.
Okay, nobody's perfect here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there is no 100%. Okay, I like the presentation very much. Really, it's يعني خلونا نتكلم بالعربي. معمولة كويس جدا المعلومات. اتفضل يا عمر.
أنا كيف أتكمل؟ ها؟
أنت مش You don't have the right to talk about your product.
Oh no, I'm not. I don't want to talk about my product. I just want to see what the rest of the class thinks about it. I'm just curious.
Okay,
I just want to see the rating and why. Like, if it's like a 5 out of 10, I want to know why so we can improve that if we have another presentation.
Who for Huda? What?
What? No, I said I want to know the rating. So, if it's, for example, a 5 out of 10, they give the reason why it's a 5 out of 10, and I prove that later in another presentation. That's I just want another rating.
طيب خلاص I'll them talk also. بس خليني انا اكمل. البرزنتيشن كانت معموله كويس جدا مع يعني واضح ان فيها المجهود معمول. التيم وورك انا بحب جدا التيم وورك ان في تيم وورك وان كان انا عارف مين عمل ايه I can feel it يعني بس معموله حلو والمعلومات فيها كويسه و well done صراحه well done. I really enjoyed it really.
I would just like to comment on the part like what part everyone did. What we did was in the beginning we made a doc, like a slide doc, and then I told every person to go in and pick which slide they wanted to do and then put down information for it. So majority of it, the parts that you read are the parts that you yourself researched.
Mm-hmm.
So no one really read something that they did not research other than like in the very, very end, the parts that we all did together. Like I would say the hijab slide we all did together and the notable women we did together. But in the beginning, everyone wrote down the parts that they read or the parts that they researched.
Perfect. ممتاز جدا. ممتاز جدا. طيب, the other team, what do you think about their Abdurrahman? What do you think? Abdurrahman مشي خلاص.
Udo, what do you think?
طب قول انت.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Now we can hear you. Yes.
To be honest, it was good. I don't know what else to say.
You are shocked. It was good.
No, I'm not shocked.
Okay. Expected.
I knew Maryam would like try like her hardest just عشان to beat me, but
okay.
no, it was honestly expected.
Again, I would like to mention that this was actually a group effort, and we had several different Zoom meetings where we all went on Zoom together and practiced. Like we were meeting for an hour and 30 minutes before this class.
Who?
Wait, what's the rating and why?
No, don't.
Who's talking? Am I
Okay.
supposed to talk? Wait, am I supposed to talk?
Yusuf, قول رأيك.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, it was good. I agree. Yeah, I agree with what both said. It was nice. Well made. Yeah.
Wait.
Okay.
You said you were rating?
Omar was asking for the rating. Yes, yeah.
Okay. 967.
967. I wish you are. ماشي.
Okay, am I to rate as well?
Yeah, as you like.
I'd say it was. I don't know. It was probably of. It was high, probably. Like a 9 or 8, 9 probably. The thing I think they could have improved on was I mean, maybe I'm not even the best at this, but they could have made it more like I don't know. They could have made it more what's the word? Like more intriguing. I don't know. Make it more
Anna, that's one thing I would agree with, is because I liked y'all's like presentation a little bit better. For us, I think our presentation wasn't that like cohesive, if that makes sense, because since every person did another slide, it wasn't like as like cohesive and stuff, if that makes sense. So it wasn't like as aesthetically pleasing to like look at.
No, it's okay.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying.
That's fine. Yes. Adam.
I think the presentation was like really well made and like really well organized, and like it was done really good. I have to be honest.
Yes. طيب لو انا هقول مين اللي كسب، واضح مين اللي كسب، مش محتاجين، اعتقد كلنا متفقين مين اللي كسب.
Who won?
Who
won?
Sure مريم team.
Oh yeah, I agree.
يعني it's to be fair.
But it was like 5 versus 2.
لا بس انا عايز اقول حاجه. البرزنتيشن الثانيه الموضوع ما كانش سهل برضو، وكان فيه معلومات كتيره قوي، ومعمول فيه برضو شغل، وبرضو كان انا انبسطت بيه برضو. بس التاني لان هو هوت توبيك، وكان فيه يعني حاجه كانت مهمه جدا، فانا شايف ان لا I think برضو احب اسمع الاودينس.
I agree. Yeah, I liked both presentations, don't get me wrong. But I just thought, like, I don't know, there was like something a little more, I don't know, about the second one. But I liked the first one too. Just
okay. Thank you.
I agree. They were both really good and really informational. I liked the second one a little bit better.
Thank you, Maria.
Yeah, me too. I think they were like both good and they were like really well put together. But like the first topic was a hard one to like research, seeing as there were like loads of opinions, and the second one too. But yeah.
Okay, Oda.
Yeah, I think both of the teams did really well, and the effort also shows. So well done to both of you guys. But if I were to choose my personal favorite, I'd pick the second one as well, because maybe it's the teamwork that did it for me.
Yeah. طيب, thank you.
Thank you.
طيب, can I ask the UK people who's the youngest? Because I'm confused. Who's the twin and who's the youngest?
Me and
Layla and Maryam are twins, and Layla's the oldest, and I'm the youngest.
Again?
So Layla and Maryam are twins, and Layla's the oldest twin, and I'm the youngest.
So Sama is the youngest from...
You just had to mention that I'm the younger twin, didn't you?
How many minutes?
3, I think. Something like that.
3 minutes or 3 minutes?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay, so Sama is the is youngest than the twin. Sama أصغر.
I'm young. No, I'm young. Yeah, I'm younger than both of them.
اوكي طيب تمام. ليه انا بسأل هقول لكم دلوقتي. طيب عندي اقتراح يا شباب وعايز اسمع رايكم فيه. ايه رايكم نقرا كتاب مع بعض؟
انا بحب اقرا كتير.
I love reading so much.
انا بقرا بالليل كتير، فانا هقول يعني حاجه كويس، بس يعني بالنسبه لي انا يعني it kind of depends على التوبيك. يعني كلنا we have to pick a topic.
لا كل واحد pick a topic. You will pick a topic one day and others will pick the topic one day. بس الفكرة أنا رأيي بقول إن إحنا نجيب كتاب نقراه، نقرر كتاب ونقراه، وكل أسبوع بعد ما نخلص السيشن بتاعنا نقعد مثلا ربع ساعة أو حاجة نتكلم مثلا في 50 صفحة من الكتاب، باعتبار إن مثلا الأسبوع لو كل واحد هيقرا 10 صفحات قبل ما ينام ممكن يكمل 50 صفحة وعنده يومين زيادة كمان. ونتكلم.
I'm okay with that idea.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I read a lot anyway as well.
I agree.
Me too. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. And I would say that it's a good idea only if we can find a book that's like actually interesting and not like a textbook sort of book.
Yeah.
ما هو كل واحد هيختار يا مريم. كل واحد هيختار.
But then my only thing مثلا is if like the older kids like pick a book that's too advanced for someone who's younger.
Yeah, I agree.
معلش مش مشكلة، خلينا نشد بعض. أنا عارف إن الإيدج ديفرنس ممكن يوصل ل10 سنين هنا اهوت. إحنا قاعدين هنا اهوت ممكن يكون فرق 10 سنين، وفي السن ده 10 سنين is too much. لكن خلينا نساعد بعض. يعني زي ما احنا اتكلمنا في توبكس النهارده، لكن كلنا في الآخر قدرنا نوصل للغة قريبة. فليتس يعني خلينا نشتغل مع بعض. طيب وبما ان بتوع يوكي هم الجداد عندنا، وبما ان سما هي اصغر واحده، سما باي نيكست سيشن انت اللي هتقولي لنا الكتاب اللي هنقراه.
Okay.
Agreed?
Does it have to be like
whatsoever?
Okay.
Whatsoever.
Wait, is she gonna say the book? Is she gonna say the book right now, or is she gonna say the book like?
لا هي ممكن ما تكونش حاطه في دماغها، خليها تفكر، اديها وقت تفكر، خليها تفكر. وات ايفر. عايزه تجيبي حاجه كلاسيك تشارلز ديكنز، عايزه تجيبي هاري بوتر.
Not classics, please, not classics.
whatever.
And I would like to put a rule in though that I don't think the book should exceed 300 pages.
ليه احنا هنقرا 50 صفحه؟
Well, why not?
احنا هنقرا 50 صفحه في الاسبوع. اذا الكتاب 500 صفحه هنقراه في 10 اسابيع.
I agree with Maryam.
ايه مشكله لو كتاب 500 صفحه ونقراه في 10 اسابيع؟ هنقرا
because I think in هو then it's gonna take a long time, and حتى personally and I already have to read over like 400 pages from textbooks every single week because I'm an English major.
Yeah, me too.
لا ثواني احنا هنقرا في الاسبوع 50 صفحه، يعني مطلوب منكم السيشن ده تقروا في اليوم 10 صفحات قبل ما تناموا. بس انا مش هقول ان احنا 500 صفحه نخلصهم في اسبوع. احنا في الاسبوع الليميت بتاعنا ماكسيموم 50 الشابتر او وات ايفر اللي هنقراه هيكون مش اكتر من 50 صفحه في اسبوع، مش مطلوب اكتر من كده. انا مش هقول لكم خلصوا.
Yeah, but what book do you have to pick from? Any book you want to?
Any book. Whatever.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can the time from the book is chosen up until we talk about the book? Can it be for like a long time? Because like if a book is not like I don't own the book, I have to go get it from the library, and because of this COVID-19 situation, we leave the books at least 2 weeks until I can actually get them and touch them with my hands.
What about if we try and find like an online version of the book? If we find a book that has an online version and we can do it that way?
Perfect. That would be perfect. If it's available in iBook بالنسبة للناس اللي عندها Apple أو available PDF online, it will be easy. And شوفي يا سما، هنجرب في سما المره الجايه وهنتكلم، ولو قدرتي تجيبي سوفت كوبي من الكتاب PDF or whatever, it would be nice.
Wait, Sema, how old are you?
I'm 12. I'm turning 13 in a couple of months.
Are you in the like the group chat on WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna send in a link today. I'm gonna send in 2 links, and they're 2 websites where you could get like almost any book for free as a PDF.
Perfect.
So I think that will be easier
Okay,
for
thank you.
everyone, so no one has to buy.
Does PDF mean that you have to like print it?
No,
You just access it on the computer.
You can just look at it through your computer or your tablet or whatever. And some of them they download as a PDF, and others download as like an iBook, but it's still free.
Oh, okay.
So I'll send in like 2 or 3 links. I have like 2 or 3 links that I can send into the group chat, so you can find pretty much any book you want on there.
Can you Gmail to me?
Okay, yeah, I can email it to you too, Alman.
طيب تمام، خلاص كده يبقى تمام. الاسبوع الجاي عندنا الفيلم بتاع وندر، ما تنسوش الاسبوع الجاي الفيلم، فهنتكلم عن الفيلم. وذاتس ات. It was really a very nice session today. Really. عشان انا ما اتكلمتش، وده حاجه، ده في حد ذاته حاجه كويسه. بس really thank you everybody. يعني I like the effort. هنعمل قدام شويه نعمل بروجكت تاني وندخل معانا our UK branch في الموضوع، ونبقى نعمل بروجكت تاني بس قدام شويه. اوكي، thank you guys. Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you. يلا see you. By the way, tomorrow, sorry before you go, tomorrow في السيشن، انا عارف بتوع UK يمكن الموضوع يكون متاخر بالنسبه لهم. tomorrow في سيشن عن السمارت جولز. سمارت جولز.
سمارت جولز. مش احنا خدنا ميتنج عن سمارت جولز كده؟
لا، كانت سلايد من ضمن السلايدز وانا بعمل بتاعه التايم مانجمنت، بس ده هيكون عن الموضوع ده، وخصوصا وهيكون شويه بيتكلم كمان على الاوتوموبيل اندستري، لان اللي هيعمل السيشن شغال في تصنيع البارتس بتاع العربيه بتاعت ماسك. اسمها ايه العربيه بتاعته؟ تسلا. تسلا. هو شغالين بيصنع البارتس بتاعت التسلا كار، فهو هيكلمنا على هيكومباين ما بين السوفت سكيلز بتاعت السمارت جولز والتصنيع بتاع البارتس بتاعت العربيات وانواع العربيات المختلفه. يعني it's good session especially for the boys.
When will the session be? Tomorrow?
11 p.m. UK time.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. طيب يلا, see you tomorrow. Who will come tomorrow? See you next week for who coming. Remember, it's the movie week. يلا, see you. السلام عليكم.
Thank you.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام عليكم.
أنا بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.